Hello everyone, and welcome to another top 10 video. As you can see from the title, it's going to be my top 10 fragrances of 2014. Now there's going to be a link down below to my previous video that I put out. There's a there might be a 2012 one. I know there's a 2013 one, but I'll have to go back and check for it. Either way, I'm going to link back to those videos just so you can get a preview of those previous lists. Now what this list is very simple. These are the top 10 favorite fragrances that I like. Nobody else's, they're just what I like. This is basically if somebody came into my house one day and basically said, gun to your head, pick 10 fragrances, that's all you get. I'm shooting all the rest of the fragrances. These are the only fragrances that you can have for the rest of your life. At this point in time, these are the 10 fragrances that I would pick. And that's what this list is kind of based off of. Now, I know I usually give that disclaimer, but it holds true, and I give it for a reason because some of the comments that I usually get from some of these are just some astronomical comments that are along the lines of something like, Rojas Man is clearly the better fragrance. Something along that. No, it's not, buddy, but it's not what I like, and therefore it's not on the list. It's very simple as that. I'm always curious to what you guys like, but for this purposes, you know, these are just my fragrances. And as always, in all my lists, feel free to list what your top 10 are. And I really like it so that people can kind of get a barometer, see my list, and see your list down below in the comments, and kind of, you know, get a better idea of what are the top fragrances and people's opinions of what they have. So that's what it is, all right? So let's go ahead and dive into the list. There are 2 honorable mentions, and they're honorable for a reason. The first honorable mention we have is Guerlain's Spiratu Double Vanille. Now this one was number 3 on my list last year. It was number 3 on my list, and I haven't changed, basically, I guess you could say, on how much I like this. I still like this a tremendous amount. The only difference is my fragrance profile, so to say, has changed. It's altered. It used to be a little bit more aggressive, but now it's a lot more toned down. And if I'm looking at almost all my fragrances, they're all, none of them are truly, maybe except for like one, none of them are really truly loud. And even that one you can kind of tame with how many sprays that you trade. And so this one is just a beast, basically, and it's a beautiful beast, but it's just outside of my top 10 of fragrances that I like, right? Beautiful vanilla, boozy bomb, Spiratu Double Vanille. The next one that's an honorable mention, it's my last honorable mention. It was number 1 on my list, and for those of you who know me and who have been following me, you probably know what it is, and it is Frédéric Malle's Musc Ravageur. Musc Ravageur. Whoa, where do I begin with this one? Musc Ravageur, it feels like I'm breaking up with a girlfriend, or it feels like I'm breaking up with someone. It's such a beautiful beast. It's such a beautiful beast. It's cinnamon, it's cloves, it's vanilla, it's very sensual, very close, very, it's at the same time extremely loud, calms down into some very sensual scent, but at the same time, too loud. Too loud for me at this point, and therefore it falls out of favor out of my top 10. So Musc Ravageur, just barely outside of it. Again, still love it. It's just falling outside of my fragrance. Yeah, my fragrance profile. Sorry, that's the word that I was looking for. Alright, so starting with number 10. Number 10 on my list was number 10 on my list last year. We have Creed's Aventus. Creed's Aventus is still running at number 10. It's a fragrance that I love to use year-round. I'll occasionally, you know, spray it here and there. I have a hard time putting it on my top 10 list generally just because it can go on any of the top 10 lists for the years. Excellent for those purposes. I'm talking about a smoky apple, pineapple. It's got a little bit of a citrus vibe. It's got a little bit of a, I think it was birch, was the wood that was in it. It's got a nice woody vibe that's slightly different too. Very fresh at the same time, very commanding. It's a very nice fragrance that can kind of sit in the background at the same time as take over and become a fragrance that's in the foreground. Creed's Aventus. Absolutely fantastic. Number 9 on the list. A newcomer to the list, we have Christian Dior's Dior Homme Intense. Dior Homme Intense is one that, to be perfectly honest, when I first smelled it, I was not impressed with it. I remember a fellow reviewer, Luis or City Messiah, actually mentioned this to me, and he was talking about all the hype around it, and I had heard all the hype around it, and I finally got my hands on it. I was like, it's okay. It's not bad, it's not great, but over time, this is one that has, grown more in my favor, and I really like it, especially wearing it a little bit more casually outside, just during the colder months, usually in fall and winter. I've actually worn it this spring just because it hasn't really warmed up yet that much in New York. It's still hovering around 40s to 60s, so what can I say? Sorry, that's a little bit of bitterness, if you could hear that in my voice. But Creed's Dior, or not Creed's, Christian Dior's Dior Homme Intense. Number 8, we have from the house of Tom Ford. Tom Ford's Oud Wood. Oud Wood is another one that I guess you could say spending a little bit more time has made me appreciate how much I like it. It's a very subdued wood. Despite the fact being subdued, it doesn't, diminish the fact that it lasts a pretty long time on my skin. It'll last, well over the entire day and still remain on you for that to boot. It's a little bit subdued. People love it when they smell it, especially off of my skin. Said that they generally say that it smells really good, great, mature type of a scent, but at the same time, very sensual, very Bond-esque-ish, if you will. Oud Wood from Tom Ford. Absolutely fantastic. Number 7. Another newcomer on the list. We have, from the house of Bond number 9, you've heard me talk about this one, Bond number 9's Andy Warhol. It's got Andy Warhol's picture on the front, can't really miss it. This, purple covering, this is plum, resin, oud. It's just so, I guess you could say, delicious. It's playful and at the same time a little bit more mature and subdued without lacking the strength and the power. And that's what I like about Andy Warhol. It's an absolutely fantastic scent. My favorite run from the house of Bond number 9. In fact, I'd probably get rid of the other ones for Bond number 9. But either one, absolutely love it. Next on the list, number 6, we have, and it's moved down a couple places, still love it, Chanel Allure Homme Edition Blanche. This is a lemon cream pie type of a fragrance. It has a sparkling aspect to it, lemony, citrus. I guess you could say it's got a slight tinge of a woody scent to it, but it's more about the citrus, and it doesn't last as long as I would like it, but at the same time, I still love it for what it gives. Allure Homme Edition Blanche. One of my favorite for the spring, if not my favorite for the spring, and wearing for the summer as well too. Fantastic. Number 5, from the house of Tom Ford, again, Tuscan Leather. Here's the bottle, Tuscan Leather, the same thing with all the other Tom Fords. Tuscan Leather is one that snuck up on me in a while. It wasn't until I started reviewing it, I'd had it for a while, and it wasn't until I started reviewing it that I began to appreciate it a little bit more for what it was. It's a leather scent, it's very animalistic, it sticks a little bit closer to the skin, but at the same time it has projection, and it just has a very nice mature vibe to it. Tuscan Leather mixes well with a lot of the other Tom Ford fragrances. So I've actually been diving into that a little bit more too. But by itself, it's absolutely fantastic. And that's what it's here on this list for, by itself. Tuscan Leather by Tom Ford. Number 4, from the house of Frapin, Humaniste. Was on my list last year as well. This is one, the only downside to this one that I found is, and if it wasn't for this downside, I would easily rank this, and I've said this repeatedly and I mean it. If it wasn't for a downside that I'm about to mention, it would be number 1, my favorite fragrance of all time, and that's its longevity. Doesn't last for shit. Lasts about, I want to say 3 hours, and that's being generous on my skin. I constantly have to reapply this, and I wear it. I usually carry a little decan around me to spray it, but it's got like a gin and tonic type of a smell to it. Very fresh, very sharp, very it's just very absolutely appeasing. This is one of the most complimented scents, if not the most complimented scent that I have. People absolutely love it. And I absolutely love it, and it's for a reason. I can definitely see myself buying another bottle of this because I plan on wearing it a little bit more heavy coming down this time, but Humaniste. Absolutely fantastic scent. If not, poor performance though. Poor performance. Number 3, from the house of Yves Saint Laurent, which happens to be another Tom Ford fragrance though. M7, my 3rd favorite fragrance. I've slept on this for a while. This is the original formulation. I've had it for a while, and I started wearing it more recently this winter, which is a shame. I wish I could have recognized it a little sooner. And it's just, oh man, magical. Very mysterious. It's got an oud, a very, I guess you could say like a sweet oudy type of a smell to it. Very dark, very mysterious, very subdued, and that's what's, I just absolutely love this scent. Yves Saint Laurent's M7. If you can, get your hands on the original formulation. I haven't smelled the newer formulation though, so I'm not sure. They could smell the exact same for all I know. I don't know. Number 2, from the house of Olfactive Studios, one that's moved up, Chambre Noire. I've used the hell out of this one. We're almost nearing the halfway mark for this baby. I'm definitely gonna have to buy another bottle of it. Pyrus. It's got a very nice, I guess you could say, what is the best way to describe it? Well, I'll have a review on it if you want to go get a little bit more specific, but the best way, I guess you could say, the best type of, I guess, feeling that I get from this one is sensual, playful, and mysterious all at the same time. And that's what I've gotten from people who have smelled me. That's what they comment on it. It's just an absolutely fantastic scent. My girlfriend loves this one. I love this one. Everyone around me loves this one. There's not much really to say. It just works with my skin. Sometimes you have to find fragrances that really work with you. A lot of people may not like them, but they work with you. You love them. Go for it, basically. Chambre Noire is one of those scents, at least for me. And my favorite fragrance that is in the number 1 spot. It was very close though, because any of the top 4, even top 5 could swap in for the number 1 depending on what it is for that day or how well it's done. Bergamot 22. Still going with this one, still going strong. This is one that you could actually wear year round perfectly fine. I personally choose to wear this one in the summer and only the summer. It's about at the halfway mark for me. Actually, not the halfway mark. I'm about like 70%, but it's still getting down there. I'm gonna have to buy another one or get a refill on this. But I absolutely love it. It's bergamot done right. This is the best bergamot smell. Bergamot is one of my favorite scents, and this is bergamot done right. Bergamot, cedar, and it lasts a good amount of time on my skin. Fantastic. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free, leave me a note, send me a message, do whatever you gotta do. Let me know what your top favorite fragrances are. I love doing these lists because it just allows me to sit back, take stock of what I consider the best in my collection or what I would take with me to the grave. Right outside of the top 10, there's a ton of Creed that's there. There's a ton of By Killians. There's a lot of fragrances that are really on the cusp. But yeah, that's what I would actually rate. Okay? So let me know again what your top picks are. Can't wait to hear from you this weekend. I'll save that update for later. All right, take care of yourselves.